What's going on? This is Theo Gremminger with Dynasty Life. No guest today. This is a special YouTube-only show that I'm going to start dropping anytime I make a Dynasty trade. I'm going to share with you my thought process, the trades that I'm actually making, and hopefully this helps you identify a couple of targets for yourself and also gets you thinking about things like roster construction and how to build your Dynasty roster. The month of February is going to be a very busy one for me trade-wise because I play a lot of FFPC. And in FFPC leagues, the cut-down day comes at the end of February. And when that cut-down day comes, I need to trim my roster down to 16 total players. So it's a very shallow dynasty format. The 16 also includes a kicker and a defense. So these YouTube short shows are going to show exactly what I'm thinking, exactly the amount of money the league costs, exactly the format it is, and exactly the trade that I'm making. So here we go. My team that I'm talking about here finished as the runner-up last year and was pretty loaded going into the offseason. I have every position I felt strong about except for the quarterback position. And this team also lacked draft pick flexibility. I had traded my 2024 first, which turned out to be the 111, along with the 107 last year to trade up to the 102 and acquire Jahmyr Gibbs. That looks like a massive win for me at this point. So this team, roster-wise, I had Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then depth at the running back position with guys like David Montgomery, Jalen Warren, Antonio Gibson, Keaton Mitchell. Wide receiver was very strong. Garrett Wilson, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Drake London, Jamison Williams, Romeo Doubs. Now, FFPC is a tight end premium scoring format. And I have Sam Laporta, who I drafted last year in the same rookie draft that I got Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs. It was a huge rookie draft for me. But this team also had TJ Hawkinson, and that was another player I acquired with in a trade last offseason. Hawkinson paid off very well, but I have too much TJ Hawkinson in Dynasty. This team also lacks flexibility. I am over the roster constraints. So I either would have to trade guys potentially at a loss, or I would have to potentially cut a guy and let him go into the rookie draft. That's how the FFPC works. It's a deep rookie draft where there's rookies and veterans available. So the trade I'm making, this one's going to be a little bit polarizing, but I sent Jackson Smith-Njigba and TJ Hawkinson, and I received Dalton Kincaid and the 106. I hate trading away Jackson Smith-Njigba, especially because I think he's going to have a strong year 2 season. Now, I have a lot of Jackson Smith-Njigba still in Dynasty. So Jackson Smith-Njigba versus the 106, to me, it's pretty flat. This is a really, really good draft class for wide receivers where right now, maybe I prefer Jackson Smith-Njigba, but as we get a little further into the draft process, the guys like Brian Thomas, the guys like Troy Franklin that are going to be sitting there at the 106 are options for me. Now, when it comes down to the tight end spot, I have Dalton Kincaid ahead of TJ Hawkinson in my Dynasty tight end rankings. Now, Hawkinson was obviously more productive this year overall, but Kincaid was a rookie. I think that there is certainly question marks about the quarterback position in Minnesota, where we don't know what's going to go on with Kirk Cousins, whereas Dalton Kincaid has Josh Allen. He's about as set as it gets in terms of high-quality quarterback play. So for me, it was a win with Dalton Kincaid over TJ Hawkinson. I also don't have to worry about the health issues where TJ Hawkinson might miss the better part of the first half of next season. There's a lack of clarity on how much time he's going to miss, but I think it's going to be significant. Kincaid will be there for me day one. This team finished as the runner-up this past season, And this year, I would really like to win the title, or at least be in a position to finish first or second again and win some money. This entry fee was $250. And again, for this one, it's a start 10, roster 20, like we talked about the roster constraints. And it's a tight end premium format. So it's a 1.5 for tight ends in terms of the PPR. So my team is very strong, I feel like, now at 3 positions. It's strong at running back. That's pretty much set it and forget it. It's very strong at wide receiver, despite losing Jackson Smith and Jigba. And now I have about as good of a young tight end combination as it gets, with Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid as my tight ends. Now, the 106 not only gives me more roster flexibility in terms of the players that I can keep, where I will potentially be able to keep a guy that I might have had to consider cutting, but the 106 also allows me to go with the position that I'd like. So right now, 106, I would predict the best value on the board is going to be a wide receiver, but there's a chance that multiple running backs land very well, and I think that 106 is going to be right in the wheelhouse for that. If I want to go in that direction, I can add depth at the running back position, and I could potentially take what I view to be the top running back in this 2024 class with the 106. The 106 also gives me the flexibility to improve the worst position on my roster, which is quarterback. This team had Joe Burrow, and when he went down to injury, I had to scramble, and I downgraded to trade for Tua Tagovailoa, and I believe it was a 3rd-round pick. So that trade was not ideal. But at the time, I needed to cover the quarterback spot, and Tagovailoa was the best one that I could trade for without selling the farm. So again, this trade is going to be polarizing. A lot of you are going to hate it. Some of you are going to like it a lot. But Jackson Smith and Jigba and TJ Hawkinson for Dalton Kincaid and the 106. 106 wise, I can take the best player available. I can go with, or potentially Caleb Williams. If I want to really fix the quarterback position, I can take Caleb Williams at the 106 if he's there. And I think that there's going to be a lot of leagues in single QB where Caleb Williams is going to go 105, 106, 107. I think that he is going to steam up as people become more and more enthusiastic about him throughout the draft process. Stick with me here at Dynasty Life all offseason long. I'm dropping episodes, sometimes multiple episodes a week, and then I'm going to be dropping these YouTube-only Dynasty trade shows where I'm going to show you every Dynasty trade I make throughout the month of February and March. Everybody enjoy the Super Bowl weekend, and we'll see you very soon on Dynasty Life.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.